What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode here on NRV Outdoors. Today we're here at Old Goose Creek in Floyd County through a little bit of state stock trout fishing. And in today's video, guys, I want to talk about a lot of the major mistakes that us trout anglers make on a regular basis while we're out fishing. But also in today's video, guys, I would like to cover some of these GRUMPAW baits here. I've had these sent in from a local bait maker who's been making baits to help support the cost of one of his children who has autism. And his therapies are very expensive, so he has started to craft some beautiful handmade baits that you can buy at GRUMPAW'S.com. I'll leave a link for you right here and another link right here. And yeah, let's go ahead and hop in here and I'll show you some of these guys. So we've already fished around a little bit this morning, and we've tried out his jigs, and we'll save those for later in this video because they really do play a big part in today's video. But let's go ahead and hop in here, guys, and I want to show you some of the stuff he's making. As you can see here, we've got a beautifully tied little gold spinner here, and as you can see, he's using extremely stout, very well turned wire. He's got a very heavy clevis in there, a beautiful blade, definitely not a cheap blade. And as you can see here, guys, he's using high quality weights to counterbalance these spinners. He's got some beautifully tied on tails here, and he's even got a nice stinger hook there that is cut off just perfectly to those little hair follicles there to avoid those short strikes. Everybody knows those long tails get bit and the hooks get ignored. So I think these are excellent little spinners. We're going to get one tied up. I'm thinking I'm going to start the day off with this white one here because we've got a bit of a, overcast day, not a ton of sun peeking through. So I think this silver may really play a role today. And if that sun gets up, I'm going to start throwing that gold around, and I may go vice versa. But we've got some jigs as well. We're going to fish those. And from the fish I've seen so far in the creek today, I think the jigs are going to pay off, and you'll see those later. So let's not waste any time, guys. Hop on there, check out Grandpa's Tackle, support local bait makers, small cell phone businesses, and help them get started, guys. It's for a great cause. He's helping support his family. So hop on there, buy yourself some baits. I can tell you guys, looking at some of these, like this one's got beads, this one's got weighted beads as well as plastic beads and glass beads. So I would definitely say that if you want something custom, just to hop on the website there, hit him up, send him a message, and see if he can't make you something custom, because as you can see, he's got tons of materials. Let's go ahead and hop in the creek here, guys. We found us a few fish. Let's make some casts. We'll get this little beauty tied on, and we'll get started. Slow roll that spinner next to this down tree. I don't think there's anybody in there, guys. Beautiful location. Had to wait over here to check, but doesn't look like anybody's at home. That's okay. We'll move on down past a little bit further. And this is one of our biggest problems right here, guys, is wading downstream. As you can see here, I'm walking downstream, and it can cause a lot of issues kicking up silt and dirt and sending it to the fish. So if you do have to walk downstream at any time, which I really recommend you never do so, but if you do, make sure you're over here in the shallows so that what dust you do kick up goes downstream away from any fish you may be targeting. It's so key, guys, because any information that those fish get you around is all they need to stay away from you. Oh, there they are, guys. We found them. We found them right at the very end of this run right here. Here they come. Yep, just some little guys, but we did find them at the very, very end of this run right here. We'll just fish along for them. Here one comes. Yep, got some little chasers. Might have to break out those little jigs. Those might be the ticket for today anyways. Alright, guys, so another big mistake that trout anglers make is getting way too close to a hole. As you can see here, we found some fish, but we're staying way back. We're not letting them know that we're here at all, because you typically don't want them to know that you're here. You don't want them to have any clue what's going on. You just want to present your bait as normal as possible. So we're throwing this spinner in here, and they're chasing. So we're going to continue to cast it around for a few minutes. And we might have to switch over to the old GRUMPAW jigs. He's got a little 1-2 system that works excellently. While we're fishing along, guys, I would like to tell you another big major mistake that people make is casting their lure directly on top of the fish. We've got fish all around our hole right here, guys, and I'm being very meticulous on where I'm putting the spinner because I don't want it to drop on top of anybody and educate them that that's actually a spinner in the hole. All we want, essentially, is for them just to see the bait as it comes by. So we're casting way up in front of them and out past them and not casting directly on them. And again, guys, their predatory instinct kicks in when something splashes the water, and they assume that it's something that could hurt them. They don't immediately think it's something they can eat. So keep that in mind. It's very, very, very important. Alrighty, guys, so we casted around our GRUMPAW spinner for a little while now. And like I was saying earlier, he's got some excellent little jigs also available. we're going to try those out now because I feel like these fish are definitely wanting to chase. There's you guys another awesome little look at that box there. Just some excellent little baits there. Tons to choose from, different options. Let's go ahead and grab out one of these little bitty jigs. Not really sure what the material's made of. Gorgeous little jig there that he ties up. Let's just see if we can't get our skunk off the boat here today, guys. Get our first fish of the day on this little old green jig. Nice olive color. Excellent color for trout. Just tie our basic fisherman's knot there. All right, let's make our first cast in here with this little green jig. Let's just see what happens. Just want to jig it on along. Got somebody interested. Here he comes. We got him. First fish on, guys. Heck yeah. On the old Grumpaw jig. We started him up with that spinner and got him fired up really, really good. And popped on the old jig. And that little beauty right there came over and got it. Just a gorgeous mountain trout. We're standing just over a big, beautiful fall right here to our left. Just a gorgeous setting to be catching some trout. That jig popped right off just perfectly. We'll just allow that little beauty just to swim right on out of the net, right back to the group she was in. Heck yeah, guys, there's fish number one down. All right, guys, another major mistake that you'll see trout fishermen do while fishing is casting a shadow. As you can see here, our shadow's just to our right, away from these fish where they can't see it. But if these fish were able to see our shadow and see our shadow move every time we made a cast, there's no doubt they would bust us quite quickly. Here one comes, right here to our feet. He wants it. Turned away last second. Let's show it to him again. Here we go. He wants it. All right, we got a little pod right over there. Let's just cast straight into the pod. Just up ahead of them again. Don't cast to them. Major mistake trout anglers make. Here he comes. We got him. There we go, guys. There's fish number two on the old jigging technique. Little fighter, little rainbow. Start him up really good with those old spinners, but in this little tight niche hole, his little jigs are just the way to go. There we go. Got her in the net. There's a gorgeous fish number two, guys. Just talking about that shadow, that's another major mistake that fishermen make. And you don't want to cast that shadow onto a hole, guys, because they will see you and they'll spook away. Let's go on ahead and get back in here. We'll continue to fish our little green jig. He sent us all kinds of stuff with all kinds of colors, guys. But we're just going to continue fishing right on along and see if we can get us another one. Alrighty, guys. They've seen our little olive jig over and over and over again. And they're still biting it, no problem. But I just thought for fun, I'd change up colors here. He's got a black and a brown. I kind of want to display those. It is super cold today, and all these spinners are made just beautifully. But these little fish in this tight little niche hole, they don't have enough room to chase the spinner. We may try to find some spinner fish later, but as of right now, we're just going to keep fishing these jigs. They're working really, really well, and they're getting bites, and we're able to kind of maintain it in this really tight niche spot that we're in right here. So we'll just toss on this black jig here. We'll continue fishing these Grumpaw baits here. Super awesome baits. I'm really liking these little jigs. I could see these working excellently under the ice for you ice fishermen. I can see this working great under a bobber for crappie and perch and panfish. And as you can see here, guys, jig and trout, they're absolutely slaying. So options galore, guys. You can tell you put a lot of time and effort into tying these. They're just beautifully tied, guys. Beautifully tied. I highly recommend you hop on there and try to get you a few. Let's drop our little black jig right on in here. Do the same thing we've been doing. We're just going to jig it along. Keeping an eye on that jig, watching it bounce by the fish. Seeing if we can trick anybody just to come right on over and bite it for us. There we go, guys. That little guy come over and just crushed that old black jig. He absolutely destroyed it. Oh, quick release right there. Beautiful. Can't complain there. Hook still in perfect shape there. Just a quick release on that little small jig. And once again, guys, Grumpaw jigs coming in hot. So let's go ahead and get back in here. And we'll keep bouncing him along. See if we can get another one to bite us just as aggressively as that last one did. All right, guys, just for fun and to say that we did, let's go ahead and grab us out a little trout magnet indicator here. And let's get it rigged up with these little jigs, because I feel like just a natural floating presentation may be just absolutely epic with this little rig here. And I'd like to test that out. And once again, guys, he's got an entire line of spinners, and his spinners really are where he shines. He makes beautiful spinners, guys. But once again, we're in a very tight little spot here. And we're going to be displaying his jigs for the most part, just because of where we are and how the creek is fishing today. Let's go on ahead and rig it up. Very, very, very short leader. Probably, I don't know, 16 inches maybe, and that may be too long. We'll make our first cast and we'll see if we're dragging the bottom here. We're going to cast way up ahead of them like we was talking about earlier. They don't want to see the splash. The splash will turn the fish off. That looks like a good separation there. Let's just let it head right to the fish. Imparting some very slight twitches. Oh, he bit it on the very first cast there, guys, so our separation was perfect. I just missed the hook set. So once again, cast way ahead of them. Allow your bait to sink. Allow your float to get perfectly in line with the group of fish you're targeting. And as it gets perfectly to them, maybe twitch it once. Twitch it twice, see what happens. Keeping a close eye on that float. Nothing on cast number 2, but I can see that the majority of the fish are just below our jig, so we'll move our float up there to about 18 inches. We'll move it up about 4 more inches. And once again, cast way ahead of these fish, guys. Not spooking them. They can't see our shadow. They don't know what we're wearing. They have no clue that we're here whatsoever. We'll just work it past them. There we go. Just drifted it by as we was putting up our net, and this little beauty absolutely crushed it. Just drifting the GRUMPAW'S black jig there, and this little beauty absolutely crushed it. She absolutely crushed it. Just slide her right on into the net. Now, it could also be a size thing that's making these jigs work so great, because as you guys know, smaller rainbows, brooks, and browns really like to eat bugs, and these jigs just replicate so many bugs in the waterway. And the bigger fish really love spinners. So I'm sure if these were big, hefty brooder browns, the spinner would be the ticket. But as of right now, guys, this little black jig is catching them. So we'll just continue to fish around. There he is. There he is. Absolutely slaying the little jigs, guys. Beautifully little tied jigs. I don't know if it's marabou or if it's some kind of feather or what he's using them or what he's making them out of, but the material is just gorgeous. It really goes to the water nicely. And these little stalker rainbows absolutely love them, guys. I highly recommend you give them a try. There we go. Just a gorgeous little stalker. I'd say about 11 inches. Beautiful fins on that fish. Just a gorgeous specimen there. We'll let him take off. Heck yeah, guys. There we go. So I guess just for fun, we'll go ahead and grab out that brown jig, the very last color in the box, and we'll get that tied on and we'll drift it through here just like we have been. And we'll see what happens, guys. But as of right now, the little jigs are absolutely slaying. We've got one last color right here, that old brown. We'll go on ahead and fish it around. We'll catch us a couple more, and then we'll talk about our very last tip or mistake that trout anglers make. And if we stick around too long, well, we would have made it ourselves. So let's go ahead and get this little natural brown tied on. Let's catch us a couple more, and let's see what happens. First cast in with that old brown jig, and let's just see what happens, guys. See if they like the brown. I assume that brown will work just as good as that olive and the black, and they'll absolutely love it. Yep, just as I expected. Just as I expected, guys. They absolutely love it. Oh yeah, jumping and fighting. Just a gorgeous little creek trout here, guys. Just a gorgeous little fish. And swing him right on up into our net there. And there's just a beautiful, look at the spots on this fish, guys. Oh my goodness. You talking about beautiful. Look at the colors on that rainbow trout. Just a gorgeous little specimen. Those fins are just flawless. Wow. Let's let her go. Gorgeous fish right there, guys. Heck yeah. On that little brown jig. Simply tied up, but excellently made, guys. I mean, excellently made. This thing is just slaying fish. Oh, there we go. That little beauty just pulled that float right on down. Yes, she did. Just a little chunker. Nice fall cream colors on this little trout here. Absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. Just a little guy. Probably only 8 inches, I'd say. He'd be a perfect little pan-fried trout. But I just had fish last night for dinner, so we aren't keeping any today. But just a little chunker there. Gorgeous colors. That lateral line is just as pink as it could be. Gorgeous. Let's let him go. Don't want to keep him out too long. There he goes, happy and healthy. All right, guys, and then our very last major mistake that trout anglers make all too often is staying in one place for far too long. We've been fishing here for a while, had no luck on the spinners, but they were chasing them like crazy, but wouldn't quite commit. So we popped on the jig and went to catching them. But now, guys, they've slowed down a lot. They're not biting anymore. So a lot of anglers, what they'll do is they'll sit here and they'll simply change baits and change baits and change baits until they eventually get a bite. But what I have found over years of practice, guys, is that if you simply move to a different location and use the same bait, introduce that bait to different fish, you'll find more often than not that you'll limit out quicker by moving than simply changing baits at fish you've already found. But guys, if you're in an extremely tough fishery and you know there's not many fish to be found, well, then there's an exception there. But for the most part, I highly recommend you pack it up and you move as soon as they quit biting to increase your hookup odds, guys. Let's go ahead and head up the creek. We'll fish around a little bit longer. We'll try out those spinners and we'll see if we can't find us another pod of hungry fish. Let's go. All right, so they're coming over and checking out the white, but it could just be they don't want the silver blade. Now, it can be kind of back and forth between gold blade and silver blade, between sun and clouds, and it really does differ, guys. But just to say that we did it, we're going to grab out our old gold blade here, guys. All the others are silver, and we're just going to rig up this old gold blade here. Going to see what happens. So far this morning, we've already caught several fish on the jigs, and I feel confident that those Grumpaw jigs would continue to catch fish all day for us. It's just one of those kind of days, but we want to display his baits as much as we can, give you guys a feel for them, and just introduce you to them. So let's go on ahead and get that little beauty all rigged up there, guys, ready to go. And that gold blade spins just as true as that silver one was. Oh yeah, it looks gorgeous down there, just flashing so brightly, guys. So brightly. There comes two like a rocket out of there for it. There we go. Oh, there we go, guys. We got one on the old gold bladed spinner. Popped him all the way up here to the shallows beneath us when we set the hook, but that's okay. At least we got him on. Heck yeah, that old gold blade enticed this little booger all around that hole, and eventually she just decided to go on ahead and grab it. There we go. Got that old treble hook right on out. Gorgeous little fish on that gold bladed spinner. Let's just let her take off nice and slow. Make sure she's healthy. There we go. Heck yeah, guys, that old gold blade right there finally got us one. There's still two more in here, one smaller one and one exceptionally large one. So we'll continue to fish along. We'll see if we can get him. Well, guys, that's pretty much going to do it for today's video. I had a ton of fun out and about today, tossing around these old Grumpaw tackle baits, guys. I highly recommend you go out there and you check these out. You hop on the website there, GRUMPAW'S.com. You check him out. You hit him up on Instagram, Facebook, wherever I'll leave him linked at, and you check him out. But for today's video, guys, we tossed around the old white and silver blade and had a ton of chases. Never had one commit on that spinner until we started throwing that gold one there. But all three jigs got completely annihilated, guys, and we caught the snot out of them on it. But I would like to say, if you want a chance to win this entire box to try out for yourself, go ahead and head down there, leave me a comment. Any comment will do, and that will be your entry to win these. But I highly suggest you go on ahead, hop on their website, and check him out, guys, and place yourself in order, because there can only be one winner, and hopefully you'll go ahead and buy some ahead of time and maybe win as well. But get out if you can, guys, and do some fishing and have some fun. And we'll go ahead and draw the winner for that little California mini jig box. We'll leave that winner linked right about right there somewhere. But until next time, boys and girls, get out and do some fishing and have some fun. But most importantly, be safe and tight lines.